Hello. On today's episode, we talk about the many Democratic electoral victories, what this means for 2026, and the death of a former vice president. Which one? I don't know. Stay tuned to find out. Oh, hello, and welcome back to Even More News, the first and only news podcast. My name is Katy Stoll. That's right.
I knew it. I thought you were going to say that, and I was right, and I'm going to say what you think I am, which is blah, 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 blah. I'm Cody. Hi.
Blah, 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 blah. Thank you for introducing yourself so eloquently. Everybody, we are very excited to welcome a first-time guest to the show today, writer and comedian and philosophy graduate student, Sara Caplan. Welcome, Sara.
Hello. Thank you all so much. And you also get to meet my cat, Sevi.
Yeah, Sevi.
Oh, Sevi. I'm sure Sevi will have a very important voice on this show. I'm very cute. Quite a structure Sevi's got back there.
I spoil them. We just dragged them. We just dragged them on such a long trip, and I couldn't resist.
Give them a little treat.
We're going to be talking more about that trip later in the episode. But I do have to mention that Jonathan is also here.
Oh, okay.
Hi.
Knew you were all worried for a moment, but he is here. He is well, I think.
I want you to want to mention it, Katy.
I do want
but
to
it's okay.
mention it.
Like we can work up to that. For right now, it can be a half dimension.
We do have holidays, and I'm in a celebratory mood this week, so let's dig in.
Let's do it.
Yeah, it's been a good week. Saturday, November 8th is National Saddle Hunting Day. I don't know what this is, Jonathan.
I
You're
didn't
asking
either.
if I'm familiar with it.
Well, because it looks like a forest mountain type thing that you might have heard of, at least.
Describe it.
Okay, so you buy this saddle for you. It's like a little hammock for your butt, and you wrap it around a tree so you can lean back from the tree like this and have your bow and arrow and shoot a unsuspecting deer from high up in a tree. And no one has heard of this, so they made
Sounds
a day
sneaky.
to try to...
Oh. To popularize it? They want to popularize it, or just let people...
Well, there's a lot of gear. You can buy gear for it.
Oh.
I'm sure you can get designs on
created by the people who make the gear.
I mean, I think perhaps enthusiasts did it.
I think perhaps, and I quote, National Saddle Hunting Day began in 2020, established by Trophy Line, the company that invented the tree saddle. Actually.
Oh, there we go. This looks like a cheater's way of being Katniss Everdeen.
It's not even like like an old thing. It's like a 5-year-old device that they invented.
But I can imagine a much cooler usage of a tree saddle. For like riding an ent, perhaps?
You could ride an ent. Oh, you could ride an ent with a tree saddle. I bet that would be more comfortable for both parties.
Yeah, you don't gotta just stand on a shoulder.
More respectful, exactly.
Although Merry and Pip never seem to be worried about falling off while Treebeard is lumbering around in the forest for conservatively 20 hours. But
I would trust Treebeard too.
Yeah.
I would no
I
concerns. I would have no
genuinely
concerns.
Don't know what any
No
of
idea.
you are talking about. I mean, I
can you guess?
was hoping it's some
Merry,
sort of
Pippin,
Merry, Pippin,
Treebeard,
Merry, Pippin, Treebeard, Ent.
and traipsing
No,
through
I don't have
Fangorn Forest. No? I'm
No.
so happy about that.
What
that you
is it? What is it? It's something that I should know and I don't. And
It's Lord of the Rings.
Oh, it's Lord of the
Rings.
tell you.
Oh, I'm outing myself right now.
Never seen them?
Have you never seen the Lord of
No.
the Rings?
Pretty entertaining. Pretty entertaining trilogy. You know.
You'd like the
I've
ents.
heard.
They're the big tree people.
They're the big tree people.
They're talking
They're the big
trees.
tree people.
Do you like Groot?
I love Groot.
It's a
Well,
lot
you
like Groot.
love Treebeard.
I know I will. Okay, we don't need to get into this. This is one of those things where everyone's always told me I need to do something and then I get resentment and I
no resentment.
Let's move on because
I'll just
honestly,
say,
I'm going to get I don't believe in cancel culture, but I'm going to get canceled for this And
No,
I need to move on.
You are
I'm
not.
ashamed.
Everyone is very accepting. All they want you to do is go watch them and enjoy them. There's no
The
I
canceling
took
expanded
a
here.
edition.
photo for a wedding, and I haven't
Extended
seen it.
editions. Also, Katie, 'tis the season.
I've
It is
also
Lord
lied
of the
to
Rings
people.
season. It's cozy
I have lied to
time.
people at times and said, yes, I have seen it, just so that they wouldn't bother me anymore. And now they all know.
Now they all know.
Well, good news is that online fantasy fans are really just awesome and cool.
Normal.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. We've got a
we could-
huge cross section here.
We could just bleep every identifying
Everything we've
name that we've said. Keep the entire
Okay.
section.
Well, they know we're
but just
talking about
bleep
tree
Treebeard,
saddles.
Tree.
How many
yeah,
things
exactly.
could we be talking about? Groot, Treebeard, what else?
I'm going to move us on to the news.
Surely we have to.
After my public embarrassment has been okay.
It's okay.
Now that
it's
my
okay.
public embarrassment is complete, I think we should pivot to the news. And even this conversation can't bring me down from the high I've been on this week, because Tuesday was a very good day, wasn't it? Came out weird. Tuesday was a very good day. Jonathan.
You want me to
Let's-
start with the election stuff? Because there was other
Sure.
good stuff that
There
happened on
was. The
Tuesday.
day started off with a bang, so to speak.
Oh my
With
goodness.
this.
Katie. Cheney's dead. Dick Cheney died. He's old. It did.
I was going to save Ding Dong the Witch is Dead for when Trump dies, but I think it feels good now. Ding Dong the Witch is dead.
You know, it started off with a bang. That guy Dick Cheney shot surviving. Getting shot by Dick
Ooh.
Oh,
Cheney.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
apologizing.
He died later.
And
Yeah,
then
he apologized to
apologizing
Dick
for
Cheney
getting
for getting shot in the face by Dick Cheney.
You know, he should have used a tree saddle. Would have gotten
He's
him.
a tree saddle. Better shot, exactly. More comfort, better angle.
Well, I'll just say was a truly monstrous man.
Let's take some time. All right.
What, just for the war crimes?
But he respects democracy. So
He respects democracy, and he really didn't help
Allegedly.
us win this election. So, Sarah, any thoughts on dead Dick?
I mean, again, you put it that way. That's a different question, Katie. But thoughts on Dick Cheney? Bad man. I'm happy he's dead.
It would have been nice to see him have some sort of accountability
no,
for
That's
his
not-
very bad actions, but
it's not the
that's
world we
fine.
live in.
You know what has been satisfying? The lack of lionization of him, because now Republicans hate him too, and MAGA certainly hates him. So just kind of died.
Nobody-
was in the
yeah.
news, completely forgotten. And I believe this was true as of last night when I was putting our notes together. Trump has not mentioned it, not in a post,
That's
not on
wild.
camera. Even like Joe Biden and Clintons and stuff are like, well, I disagreed with Dick Cheney. He was a statesman and a blah, 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 blah. Nothing from Trump. For a former vice president of his party.
That's so fun.
That's satisfying.
I mean, you know, the party
But
is
also-
a different party now.
It does. I will say that it goes to show how someone's public image can change over time with the releasing of true information. I'll say that's what this moment speaks to for me. That even conservatives want nothing to do with him.
Yeah, you get time to
and-
catch up. But also,
Yeah.
I imagine most conservatives don't like him because of him being like, Trump. I don't know about this Trump guy, right? Like, it's not like they don't care about the war crime to the torture or any of that kind of stuff. I don't think, because they're doing them now.
I definitely got a few jokes during the election of like, "Ooh, you've got Cheney on your side. That'll help." You know, vibes like that. I've sensed a general distaste across the aisle about him prior to the election.
It's extra funny and perhaps a bit ironic that Dick Cheney died on 9/11 too, which
Yeah, it
we'll be talking about. We're going to talk about
Yeah.
9/11 too now.
Because
Which happened on Tuesday,
his death
yeah.
really set the stage for 9/11 too.
I've been a little checked out of the news recently. I've been busy. And 9/11 2 is that what people are calling? I'm not going to guess out loud.
It is. You can guess out loud. That's what it's correct. That's what they're calling.
That's what they're calling the
Zohran.
election of Zohran?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which,
That's what they're insinuating.
Okay.
I don't think anyone's used the phrase 9/11 too. Leading up to this, they've definitely been sharing tons of videos and photos of 9/11, talking about how he's going to do more about that is bad. And just like, we're going to bring the terror to New York and all that kind of stuff.
lots of twin towers falling.
And then, like, you said you'd never forget, but you forgot.
You forgot. They forgot.
As if
A lot
the
of they
thing
forgot.
to remember is that Muslim people are bad, apparently, is what they wanted us to remember about 9/11.
So sorry, Deborah. Messing.
Zohran Mamdani won the mayoral election. I think it might have expanded by now, but by 9 points. He got over 50% of all votes, the first New York City mayoral candidate to get 1 million votes since 1969. Cleaned up around the city. Embarrassment for Cuomo. The GOP is crashing out over it. New York has fallen, etc.
Fucking Cuomo, man, losing so badly in the Democratic primary and then needing to do this for what? For what? To be embarrassed again. They don't like you, dude. They don't like you at all. They don't like you as a Democrat. They don't like you as an independent. Maybe they'd like you as a conservative. I don't know.
Maybe
they don't like
just
you
not being in politics anymore.
Just go away. You've got money.
Do you think he'll run for like Senate or something? Do you think he's going to go away? Do you think this is it for him? Like he's the kind of guy who's like, all right, well, I got one more in me. I
don't
can do it.
Actually think so. People say this is the end of his career. Maybe it is. Maybe he'll get the message. But there's so much ego involved in every step of this decision and so much, I guess not selling out, but revealing of true character throughout this election cycle. The shit that he was posting and saying about Mamdani. It's wild, and it does seem like somebody whose whole identity is tied upon being elected and being in a position of power, as opposed to having any sort of ideology that grounds him or sense of, you know what, this is what the people chose. So I wouldn't very much not be surprised if.
I hope he does. I hope
he
runs.
This is just the beginning.
I bet he runs. Like what?
You think
what
so?
drove him to do that? He lost already. That's what I don't understand about this decision. I don't know, like, did he have a bunch of yes men in his ears? Or maybe this awakened some kind of mass public humiliation fetish? In which case, if I were his advisor, run against AOC next time.
Yes. Ooh, yeah.
mean,
Senate.
well,
all right, do it.
To be clear, he still got a lot of votes. He did get a lot of votes as well. There seems to have been massive turnout across the board.
Notable that even if either of the other candidates dropped out, Mamdani still won. Like
he got over 50%.
More. He got over 50% of the vote, which I know people were very worried about. Well, if one of these guys drops out, then maybe Cuomo can maybe he can do this thing, but that would not have worked.
I think Cuomo should run for something like, since he was already governor of New York and then he wanted to run for mayor of New York City, he should run for something smaller each time.
Comptroller somewhere.
Comptroller or dog catcher, which I've always been told from media is something you can get elected to, but I've never seen it on a ballot.
That's what the shows say.
Yeah.
I'd want to run for that.
What are the odds that the Trump administration does some move where they're like, Mamdani is illegitimate, either voter fraud or he's an illegal immigrant? And like, what if the Trump administration just asserts that Cuomo is the rightful mayor?
Well, I feel like they would have made moves already to do that. That is something before you joined the call today, we were actually just discussing. One of the curious things in the fallout from the election is the lack of saying this was rigged, this was stolen. There does seem to be, the president is out here speaking. We could watch a clip. He's out here admitting that the shutdown is indeed hurting conservatives, is indeed hurting the GOP.
Conservative politicians, right? Not voters or people or anybody.
No.
Hurting them politically. Great. Okay, awesome.
Also about the shutdown and how that relates to last night. I think if you read the pollsters, the shutdown was a big factor, negative for the Republicans.
The thing is, because he's not, he's half invested in it because obviously Mamdani as a figure is perfect for Trump and his movement as like his enemy, right? Like he is tailor-made for Trump to be like, this guy did like he's got all the you can say like, oh, he's a Sharia communist, all the things. Which many people have, but he doesn't seem to have done that. And it's like, is he tired? Is he over it? Does he not think it's going to work? Does he kind of weirdly respect Mamdani? We showed that clip earlier this week of an interviewer being like, a lot of people are comparing him to you and like how you like buck trends and this and this. And he's like, well, like he's like, there's a weird attitude he has about him. But I have seen a lot of people who aren't Donald Trump talk about how the election was rigged. Obviously, like Sidney Powell, I think.
She's still out there?
She's still out there. I saw one of hers today. Maybe Elon is boosting all the people who are doing that. Who knows? But she's doing it and other people are. And it's the kind of thing that it very well could just like float up to Trump and then he'll start saying it.
Yeah. It just was odd to me that like this was a blowout across the board, a bloodbath for Republicans everywhere that had elections. And I thought immediately they'd be crying fraud. I guess they want to save that for next year. Potentially. They're still getting some of their chess pieces in place. When the margins are this big, I'm sorry, there's not a lot you're going to be able to do.
I've seen a lot of like, especially in Virginia, not necessarily with the mayoral race in New York, but like in Virginia, they stole this because this can't, like, they're trying to do that. But the other thing that they're just saying is like, well, a lot of blue wins in blue areas. Moving on, like they don't want to contend with the margins or anything like that.
We should go through some of these results because yes, there were a lot
across the board,
somewhat minor races. Nothing's minor. I fully believe in the power of local politics and how important it is, etc. That said, it does paint a picture that I think we should all be encouraged by. The amount of seats gained and just, city controller positions, different across the board gains for Democrats. And it's a big deal. It shows that people are upset, that people are paying attention, that they're going to vote and churn up. This is a minor election in the scheme of things. To have this many people show up is a big deal, and we should be bolstered by this anyway.
Yeah, and a lot of signifiers too, like for like specific issues, which we'll get to, like in Colorado, that like indicates again the sort of like, well, the problem a lot of the times with the Democratic Party is not saying things that people can like grasp onto and believing in something they believe in and being like charismatic and able to articulate it.
So let's run through some highlights here, Jonathan.
Yeah, so in Virginia, the Democratic candidate for governor, Abigail Spanberger, beat Republican Winsome Earl Sears by 14.5 points. That's the largest Democratic margin in 40 years. The entire state, every district shifted left. A lot of that is probably, Democrats were very enthusiastic to come out and vote, or independents too, who were enthusiastic to come out and vote against Republicans and Trump's interests. They flipped 13 seats in the Virginia House of Delegates, expanding their advantage from 51-49 to 64-36. That's pretty significant.
That's very significant.
And the Democratic candidate for Attorney General, Jay Jones, who sent those texts musing about Republican families. Well, when he was a kid 3 years ago.
He was a kid.
Even he won, and the woman who leaked the texts, the Republican, lost. Because a lot of people on the right are very upset at this. Like, can you believe they elected this man? And it does seem like the attitude from Democrats is, you guys elected Trump. All bets are off with this stuff. The stakes are too high to care. Like, we still have standards and we still do care, but the stakes are too high to.
It's very interesting. We talked briefly about Jay Jones a few weeks ago, and this scandal. And personally, I don't like it. Leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I don't like talking about people like that. And he was also included the kids in this texting scandal, fantasizing about death. I didn't like it. That said, it does speak to just how fucking upset people are with what is happening. And it also speaks to the normalization. I mean, this president tweets videos of him dumping shit over protesters. I don't know what to say. There's been a normalization of a violent rhetoric. Obviously, that's different than the text, but just the whole soup of ugliness. And it's not what I want out of our politicians. But again, speaking to people showing up and doing what they need to do to fight back,
Yeah. And things, and people are, I think it speaks to I've seen a lot of like, well, but like Trump won this and Trump won this, and Democrats, people hate Democrats, and there's tons of polling that says that people do hate Democrats, but I think there's
part of it.
But I think there's also this sort of like, yeah, but they hate Republicans more. There's like that Donald Trump thing that he is capable of doing. Conning people. Is a con man. He can con people. But the Republican Party as a whole doesn't have that. And when you just put the ideas up, when you put just these issues or parties up against each other, people don't really want to vote for these freaks in the GOP. Unless the king freak is kind of attached to them. But even then, his endorsements don't always work out. So,
He endorsed Cuomo at the last minute. And I think that there are some people that were going to vote for Sliwa. Or how do I pronounce his name?
Sliwa?
Whatever. Sliwa.
Slurm.
Doesn't matter anymore.
Maybe
does
not matter anymore. Maybe pivoted to him. But no, it's super unhelpful. This is a good point. Democrats had a good day. The Democrat Party's polling is in the toilet. It's not like that's going up. So is Donald Trump's. They hate both parties. This speaks, especially in this election where these are issues. We still have so much to go through. Colorado approved a new measure that would tax high-income earners and add it to create universal lunches for their children. And then any excess will go into the supplemental SNAP program. Awesome. That's a tangible issue. This is what people are showing up. This is what I want. If Democrats were smart, they would be looking at these results and saying, woof, they hate us, but they're showing up for these people in these districts. It should be a clear message, clear as day. People want progressive populism. People want answers to our dire needs. And it's not about the Democratic Party that they're showing up for. It's about issues and it's about a need.
It should be.
And
it should be, but I just mean to them, whether or not they take that message is a whole other conversation. But it should be the takeaway.
And there's also a spectrum too. Like it's a range of progressivism. Like obviously Mamdani is like, oh, okay, you're saying this is very specific. And what Spanberger's not like this like far lefty like democratic socialist person. Yeah, I think there are a lot of issues.
No, you're
going
right.
on in
you're right,
different
Cody.
Places.
I don't need to paint it with one paintbrush, but I think that it should be a major takeaway. And you're right. It's not as though everybody is a super progressive that got elected, but I do think it's the best options that they had. But to look at the whole picture, they should be paying attention to all the clues and to all the context here.
Hopefully they don't learn the lessons they don't learn are only, well, we moderate and we do Mamdani's social media. And we put those together, and that's what we do. Yeah.
I have a few concerns about the lessons they'll learn, like in multiple directions. I think first, I think you're 100% right. Like there's clear lessons the Democratic Party should be learning, but those lessons have been clear for a very long time. The Democratic Party, I don't think it's that they're not smart people. I think it's that they just simply have different objectives and priorities than I do. To touch back on Zohran for a bit, like, he will inevitably be a disappointment because his entire platform is the maximum of what he's reaching for. Like, that's like his peak progressive agenda. Whether or not he individually, like, he can hold on to that as strongly as he wants, but when he hits the inertia of a massive city machine like New York government, he just won't be able to get it all done. And I worry that the progressive voters that have been electrified by that kind of agenda will read that as betrayal or will lose faith broader.
This is a pitfall of progressive movements in general. It's not that I think he will be a disappointment. It's more that I think we should all be prepared for the reality of how hard it is to get all this done, especially when there's a huge, well-funded machine trying to stop you around every corner.
Temper expectations. Take wins when they happen is good to do. And don't expect the world. Also, I do think that Mamdani is particularly skilled at politics broadly, like not like the like how like policy or this, but sort of like the politics of it, talking to people and communicating that aspect of it. And I see him being able to sort of navigate those struggles, like perceived or real failures, better than most. Hopefully, to sort of avoid that thing of like, well, then are we going to abandon this person or abandon these projects or whatever, and sort of holding it together.
I briefly worked for Nithya Raman as a legal clerk when I was a law student. And what I found in that office that I found really frustrating was the like preemptive self-moderating, because she didn't want to put forward things that she didn't think would win or that had no chance at winning. So they would like moderate before. I was a tenant protections clerk. So my job was to research what other cities were doing and come up with like, well, this is what's possible. This is what's possible. And then watch it get watered down internally before being put forward to other city council members. So like, I love that Mamdani is like saying everything that he wants. I think that's awesome. And I think like the problem the Democratic Party has in large part is they don't like losing, so they don't want to ever advocate for some position that they think won't happen.
Yeah, or will have to be watered down or have to be compromised. Like that's what you don't pre-compromise, because then you'll still have to compromise. So you whittle it down before it's even proposed, and then you have to whittle it down with the people you're proposing it to. So just start up here and do that.
I think you're totally right. Like Mamdani's an amazing communicator, so I hope he shows an avenue towards like, here is how you aim high and then successfully communicate through the inevitable process of government.
Right.
In a way
communicate
that's still
why
inspiring.
Those things happen too. Like being able to communicate to people like, well, here's how the government works and here's why this had to be this way or whatever.
Mamdani is especially good at messaging. That's why you put your, wish list, your pie in the sky wish list, because it sends a message. And Democrats for a long time have been very wonky with policy and trying to communicate the little wins. We had this, whole thing during Biden of, well, the wages are actually going up for lower income people, higher than inflation. Things are actually really good right now. We just need to find a way to communicate that to people. But it didn't feel like that's what was happening, because people were falling far behind in many other ways. Housing is such a expense, that kind of thing. They weren't able to communicate it, and those little wins kind of don't translate to people, right? The deliverism doesn't work. You have to have a vision and a message and represent something. And you can just watch one of Zohran Mamdani's promo videos and know what he represents. The way Trump does for MAGA, right? Trump doesn't, he effortlessly has this message and vision for the future. And a lot of it is wink, winky, not policy stuff, but he conveys to his voters what he's going to do and what he wants to happen. And I think it's not just about having an inspiring person, though Mamdani is very good at this, but articulating a vision and a message that Democrats have to get way better at.
And then, the voters and people can actually hold on to that when things don't pan out, because we know, well, the message is still this, the goal is still this. We know that they keep saying this thing, and so you can keep buying into it and hopefully not get duped over and over again and so on.
This ad is brought to you by Vive Healthcare, the makers of Apritude, cabotegravir. You never skip your SPF, and you carry hand sanitizer like an accessory. But what are you doing for HIV prevention? One way to help protect yourself from HIV is Apritude, a prescription medicine used to reduce the risk of getting HIV in adults and adolescents weighing at least 77 pounds. You must be HIV negative to receive Apritude and get tested before each injection. If you think you were exposed to HIV or have flu-like symptoms, tell your doctor right away. More HIV testing may be needed. Apritude does not prevent other sexually transmitted infections. Practice safer sex to reduce your risk. Get Apritude as scheduled. Missing doses increases your HIV risk. Don't take Apritude if allergic to it or taking certain medicines that may interact. Tell your doctor about your medical conditions, liver problems, and mental health. Serious side effects include allergic reactions or rash, liver problems, and depression. If these occur, get medical help right away. The most common side effect is injection site reaction. Bring your A game and talk to your doctor. Learn more at aptitude.com or call 1-888-240-0340. Jonathan, what else happened this week?
So in New Jersey, this was a kind of a surprise because there was a thought that the Republican gubernatorial candidate Jack Ciattarelli could win because he was running a more spirited campaign. New Jersey hates going with the same party 3 times in a row, and they had an unpopular 2-term Democratic governor. But then Democrat Mikey Sherrill just blew him out of the water and won by 13 points. It appeared to be another, like, we're just voting blue down this whole thing to stick it to Trump. A lot of the heavily Latino districts, which flipped to Trump in that high turnout election of 2024, this is much lower turnout, but it flipped right back, and the numbers among heavily Latino districts were the same 5 years ago. So a lot of what we thought we learned, or what a lot of pundits thought we learned about the just huge generational shift among young people and the shift among Latino voters, just was not true.
At least not in this election, it wasn't.
It's just Trump shit. It's just Trump and like that old dying man that was gonna try to run again, and then like all this stuff we've talked about so much, but like that's why it's not this like massive shift of like actually everybody fucking hates immigrants and like it's like I don't know, it's just so overblown when it's like it's Trump stuff. It's Trump. He'll be gone eventually.
The reactions are very funny though, because a year ago, Democrats like lost young men, and then there's like, well, we need a podcast host, we need a Rogan of the left, we need a way to reach young men. How do we reach young men? And then young women came out and voted against Republicans in droves, and today Republicans are like, well, I guess we got to repeal the 19th Amendment, right? I mean, like the reactions are completely different.
Conservative women saying, yeah, it seems clear. I'd be willing to give up my right to vote in order to fix this. Are you, girl, please, what? No.
Just go talk to, if you like really like, just go talk to women and convince them to vote the way you want them to, right?
Just
like,
make your party better.
I've seen so many of these things. Also, people obviously, specifically in relation to what happened in New York City, 9/11 too. I can't believe all these like progressive liberal women voting for Sharia law that's going to take away all their rights. It's like, that's not what they voted for. What are you talking about? Just stop being racist for 1 fucking second and like be normal. I just want people to be a little normal. And it's like you say that and like, okay, but a bunch of Republican women, conservative women voted for the guy who bragged about how he can like grab him by the pussy like whenever he wants. And like he's a serial rapist. Like, so what are you actually confused about?
It's like I wish they would just stick with the high taxes are bad and none of this stuff is going to work. Socialism doesn't work. I wish they would just stick with that instead of the rampant Islamophobia.
Although maybe like because there's so many people on X, the everything app, being boosted by that guy. Maybe because they feel so emboldened to say this awful shit that most people don't actually agree with, it will be an even bigger turnoff. Like, wait, what are you talking about? Repealing the 9th? What are you talking about?
It's not the first time I've criticized Twitter, X, whatever, in the algorithm. For those of you still in the trenches there, it's like you've got one side that says following and the other side that says for you. You can toggle between them and see what the timeline looks like. 2 different timelines. My For You is just the most horrific racist slop. How is that for me? And then you switch between it and it's just celebrations of Mamdani and of people saying all this inspiring stuff. And then I switch back to the For You and it's 9/11, 9/11. People get mad when I say I'm shocked by things. I shouldn't be shocked. I get it. I want to keep being shocked. It's awful. It's ugly. That's not for me. They're just pushing it. They're just pushing it in our faces. And I look at that and I think this isn't real. This isn't an actual temperature gauge of the other side.
Katie, I think what you're misunderstanding is what for you means in that context. You've become coddled and spoiled by liberal social media companies that are feeding you things you like. When this new Twitter's for you is more of like, here comes the airplane with baby food, right? And it also happens to be 9/11, and that's what you need.
Yeah, they want to give you the propaganda so that you will change your mind. It's an indoctrination app now, is what it is.
I would posit that Matt Walsh's For You feed is not filled with leftists.
Oh no! Well, it's already been done.
That's not what he needs.
He needs more.
He
needs more of what he agrees with, so he can spread it to other people.
You know what? Thank you for clearing this up from everybody.
Mm.
Also, California, no big surprise, but very easily passed Prop 50. Nobody wanted to have to pass Prop 50, but that is there to counteract gerrymandering in other states. It's politics. It's bad.
Condolences, apologies to Arnold. I know he was not happy about this.
He signed my diploma.
Oh.
I grew up in Houston, and my parents' congresswoman is one of the congressional districts there that's been gerrymandered out. So they will probably lose their rep.
Well, that's why we had to do it.
They may be having second thoughts. Like, it might not be a big enough wave next year. Anything can happen. But, like, after the bloodbath this week, they might have cut some of these districts a little close. You know, some of these are like the new districts will have voted for Trump by 4 or 5 points. Like, that might not be safe enough if next year is anything like this year. So, you know, good luck down there.
In Politico, even today, they're like, next year, according to like top Trump officials, they're like, next year, Trump's going to focus on affordability. It's like, what a hilarious thing to happen today. What an interesting timing for him to say he's going to focus on affordability after Tuesday. Well, he ran on that. That's why he's the president. He was the president because of that, and he didn't do it for a year. And I was like, oh, it's winning. It won. I should do that now. Very, very clearly, they're like reacting to this, at least internally, on how they can get back up on top. Sorry.
I want to point out his one big argument for how food prices are actually, don't you know, coming down. Ignore your personal experience. They're actually coming down. He brought this up at his business conference in Miami yesterday, and then he truthed it. He wrote, 2025 Thanksgiving dinner under Trump is 25% lower than 2024 Thanksgiving dinner under Biden, according to Walmart. So the Democrats' affordability issue is dead. And he said that, okay, Walmart's Thanksgiving dinner is 25% lower than it was last year. First of all, it's not like a prepared food thing. It's like a frozen butterball turkey and then a bunch of cans, a can of creamed corn, a can of green beans, stuff like that. And there's fewer things in it this year than there were last year. And then they switched from the name brand cans to their Walmart brand Great Value cans, which are cheaper. Yeah, it's cheaper, and it's also shittier. And
probably
if
worse,
Trump had to eat that for Thanksgiving dinner, he'd blow his brains out.
Yeah, it's the cheap food. There's cheap food available at Walmart.
Yeah, great advertisement for Walmart.
Look, I know that affordability was better with Democrats and that it's hard to get the messaging right, but shit's expensive. People are desperate. This does speak to me about how out of touch both parties are about the reality of what it is like to be making ends meet and to try to feed your family. And also, whenever prices are down, no, it's not. Every state's different too.
All national prices are up, actually, or down. Down is what he wants. Do you think it's out of touch to be saying that kind of stuff and then putting gold calligraphy that say the Oval Office outside the Oval Office? And
sure, yeah, having Great Gatsby themed parties.
The Great Gatsby themed party. Also, I think it's funny for him to be like the Democrats' affordability argument is dead. Then why are you focusing on it next year? You did it.
That kind of gives me a little hope, actually.
Right?
If they're actually responding to Tuesday elections and they're tempering their messaging, so they think there might be elections next year. That's nice.
Yeah,
they need to worry a little bit. Yeah.
Mike Johnson was also out there today saying, well, there's built-in inflation in food. Food prices always go up a little bit. It's like, Well, then what? So the president is a liar? You're agreeing that the president of the United States, who says that all the food prices are down, is a liar? If food prices are always going up, then why didn't you call out Trump during the campaign, who said he'd lower prices on day one, that he'd push the lower prices button? You lying scum.
He didn't see anything from the campaign, so he couldn't respond to that.
Does he know who is president right now? Has he heard of this man, Donald Trump?
I don't think anyone's
I'm
asked
just
him
so
yet.
busy, guys. I don't know.
Can't check the news. I can't Google president current.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really his job to know that.
Yeah.
No.
His job is to monitor his son's masturbation patterns with that app.
Like any good parent.
Exactly.
Like any good
Hashtag
parent.
Texas.
Mike Johnson, paragon of parenting.
I mean, the amount of times my parents monitored my masturbation.
Was it 0?
The amount
Zero.
of
It was
time.
zero. It was 0 times. It was 0.
That's only because they don't have the app yet.
They just had to page me. Is it happening? Is it happening?
Gen Z's like, wait, so in the 90s, did you guys really like not use apps to spy on each other's like masturbation habits? God, I thought that was just a movie thing, but I guess that's
Weird.
really what the
So
90s were
old.
like.
Yeah. And you had to roll up your windows.
How did your parents know if they were having nocturnal emissions at the rate of an 18-year-old?
Watch your
Telegrams back and forth.
sheets like their parents did.
Oh, sorry, my dad just texted me my sperm count. I'm sorry. Did you not get texts like this from your dad when you were
like
That's like weird,
Telegram?
right?
No.
300 parts per million?
Hold on.
We want to leave time to chat with Sarah about stuff, but real quick, a couple of other news stories this week. Nancy Pelosi retiring. How about that? She's so young. I don't know why, but
Good for her. Relax. Speaking of Mike Johnson and Nancy Pelosi, he mentioned that today. He does pay attention to the news sometimes when Nancy Pelosi announces that she's retiring. And his thoughts are...
Former Speaker Nancy Pelosi has now announced her retirement this morning. That is a very important sign that I hope that you all will delve into. Even the famous San Francisco liberal is not far left enough for the neo-Marxists.
Actually, Mike, she's 85 years old. She's retiring at 85, Mike. It's not because she's not a neo-Marxist Sharia commie or whatever you think, or whatever you know you're supposed to pretend to think.
she has to retire before she becomes another Dianne Feinstein.
Or
Mitch McConnell.
a Joe Biden.
Or before she
type.
gets murdered.
Before she gets murdered.
Or that. Honestly,
true.
or that.
Oh.
Okay, Sarah. Obviously, it's not easy being a trans person in America right now. You and your partner recently made a big move to Canada, right?
We
Is
did.
that correct? Yeah, tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, I'll clarify for the audience also. I'm trans. And it's been bad. It's been scary. And so my partner and I are now where I'm doing this recording from an Airbnb in Canada. And
Hi.
oh, they say hi. And we're here for at least 6 months, which is the length of the visitor visa, while we try to figure out the steps that are next. We don't know what they'll be because the future feels utterly unpredictable right now. And that was a big part of our decision making. For me, I had a few friends who had left the country, and as they were doing it, I kept asking myself, like, do I think you're crazy for leaving? And the answer was always, no, I don't. It seems reasonable. So then I had to answer, so why am I still here? And especially post the Charlie Kirk shooting, there was that major uptick in like very terrifying transphobic rhetoric from the right, discussion of putting trans people into like mental hospitals or detaining us. The fact that trans people are all violent criminals. And this is kind of pathetic, but the scariest thing I heard from any of them was from Greg Gutfeld.
Yeah.
Who is, for those who don't know, the quote-unquote late-night comedian for Fox News, who's also on The Five. He said something along the lines of, like, in talking about uh, killed Charlie Kirk. He said like, oh, well, he was killed by this tranny shooter, and then he got called out for that. I was like, oh, well, no, I mean, the shooter wasn't trans. It's like, well, he was like under the spell of some transgender ideology and, this transgender nihilist violence. And just think about it. Like, if you can just decide, if some guy can just decide, well, I'm going to be a girl and then nothing matters, I'll just be a girl, then what's stopping them from just deciding that murder is okay now? And it's like that kind of logic.
That's absurd.
It is absurd, but like that went unchallenged by his co-hosts on like a daytime casual comedy show on Fox News. That for me was the moment where I was like, okay, I just don't know. I was actually messaging a bit with Jonathan about this. I have like a few random people I was reaching out to while I was thinking about it. And I also found I kept asking myself, like, how do I feel about the Jewish people who left Germany in the 30s? Specifically, do I think of them as cowards? Do I think that they did something immoral? I felt and continue to feel super guilty for leaving. The fact I was able to pack up my life and come here in the way that I did and when I did is because I have parents who support me both emotionally and financially and were willing to help me do this. Like, it takes a lot of, it's an immense position of economic privilege to be able to do it.
I think that's good to acknowledge that and
yeah.
to have that awareness. But the guilt, I don't know that you need to carry. I think it's your one beautiful life to live. And it's hard. There's a lot of baggage. It's not like you're renouncing your citizenship. This also doesn't have to be a forever decision for you. This also can be something, and your personal safety is important. Did you feel bolstered at all by the results in the election this week? Because it does seem, despite anti-trans fear-mongering, that does not seem to be anything that's moving the needle for people in this specific election anyway.
Yeah, no, I did feel bolstered by the election results, and I think that's great. I believe in general most people are good or at worst neutral. As a general human philosophy, I think that the Trump administration is super unpopular. And for me, the calculation is like, I think they're unpopular. That doesn't mean I think they will necessarily fail. And
that's a good point.
I found myself basically doing like a Pascal's wager where it's like, I don't know the future. I don't know if I would have been in danger if I'd stayed or not. No one does. So would I rather be wrong in the direction of leaving and then maybe feeling like I overreacted a little bit in the future and having my friends be like, oh, I can't believe you left? Or would I rather be wrong in the direction of like staying?
Yeah, for sure.
Are there any sort of like signifiers you're kind of looking for, like that would sort of like make you feel comfortable about moving back? Like, oh, if this happens, or if, obviously like the Trumpism sort of dissipating over however many years that takes, but any sort of like more specific thing that would kind of push you there?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't have like a list of set criteria, but I did, like my wife's also a trans woman, and we did decide actively, like when Trump was elected, it was an open question. Are we going to leave or not? And at that moment, we decided to stay. We lived in LA, and we were both like, it's hard to imagine anywhere being safer than LA, because it's not like trans issues don't exist all over the world. Like, and I think part of what especially scared me, what led to me being increasingly scared, was watching LA's failure to protect its undocumented population.
Sure.
And myself included. And this just, I'm sure everyone can relate to these days, just life just went on in this very strange way while so close to everything we were doing. Lives are being ruined. Families are being split up. People were being taken to who knows where and unknown if they would ever return. And I was seeing people who weren't directly impacted by it. A lot of people did do great shit. There's so much amazing resistance and community patrolling happening in LA, like Union Del Barrio is doing awesome stuff, but it's just not enough. And it's like 7,000 something people have been taken from LA. And I was watching that and thinking, like, well, if they do decide to come for trans people, while I believe the state of California and the city of LA and my friends here will want to protect me, the question is, will they? And will they be able to? Because I also believe that they want to protect like all of our undocumented neighbors.
Absolutely.
And I wanted that too. And I wasn't doing nearly as much as I could have been either. And so I don't know what I would be looking for. Like, I'd either be looking for some huge step up in the kind of resistance that's happening just at the level of the people, which I don't know what that would even mean. I'd want to see proof that elections are going to happen freely and fairly. I'm not optimistic about 2026, personally.
Yeah.
Like, once you have National Guard stationed in every city, I don't know how you can have a free and fair election. I guess if the Democrats do win the House in 2026 and the transfer of power happens, I would feel more safe.
I think that's a good benchmark to give yourself, to say, looking at how things shape up over the next year, see how 2026 is looking. It's a complicated decision and a complicated journey you're on.
Yeah. And just like beyond the politics, I also was just feeling increasingly personally unsafe in the US from stochastic violence. Like, I'm on an all trans improv team at Upright Citizens Brigade in LA. And we had a show the Sunday after Charlie Kirk was shot. And I almost didn't go because I was like, fuck, I mean, what is stopping somebody? What stops this from being the next mass shooting? They're blaming us, like, and that's just pervasive in the US.
Yeah, it's terrorism. I keep saying that. The fear that starts to sink in about this rhetoric is getting so bad. It's so inflammatory. I feel personally targeted. Am I really going to put myself out there? Am I really going to continue to pursue the things that I used to pursue? Am I really going to go to this public event? And we have to weigh that. It's not hyperbolic to be worried about it. It is our own personal journey to decide how much we're going to be, what we're going to do about it, where we're going to show up. I think that these are all valid, considerations.
If you are a cis person listening to this who has a trans family member or trans friend, please reach out to them and let them know that you're aware that shit is really intensely scary. Because that was also part of it for me, was without throwing any shade on any of my friends, but just the knowing that there are all these people who are paying attention with you and not feeling like this stuff is just happening unseen is really helpful. And anyone who did reach out to me, it meant a ton. So I don't know, you might think it's awkward to bring it up or whatever, but I would recommend you try it.
Thank you for sharing that. That is really helpful piece of advice that maybe isn't top of mind for people, but probably should be. We want to look out for each other. We want to protect each other and help everybody weather this storm. And yeah, I will.
And
I'll do that.
even being aware of, like, oh, they're thinking about me can be enough.
Yeah. Well, that feels like a good place for us to wrap things up today. Sara, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today, to share a little bit about your journey. I'm sure that it will be helpful to a lot of people that are having similar conversations with themselves. I know it'll be helpful for me when I'm thinking about how I approach conversations with my trans friends. Yeah, so we really appreciate you taking the time. I hope it's going well. I hope your cats are enjoying the transition. Tell our audience where they can find you. That's what I wanted to ask.
You can find me on Instagram or YouTube at Sara Rose Caplan. It's Sara, no H, Rose like the flower, Caplan with a C. And I have not posted in a long time because I knew that I had an imminent border crossing, and I'm really bad at preventing myself from saying the things I want to say when I do record. So I will go back to posting things now that I'm safely out of the country. And yeah, I mostly do trans philosophy, education, comedy content.
Awesome. Boys, do you have anything to plug? Do you want to?
Listen to our show.
Yeah, I do a podcast twice a week called Even More News. It comes out like Tuesdays and Fridays. Sometimes we try to get it out Monday night, but it can't. So it's just always
so tough.
What if I'm looking for like a long form researched and produced sort of video essay?
So Last Week Tonight, I think, is great on HBO.
Okay,
check that
great.
out.
Perfect.
They just did a great episode on police chases.
Yeah.
It's really good. And so, there's other shows that do that too, but that's okay.
There's this one puppet.
They do need a puppet. Check out my band. It's called The Hot Shapes. We're on all the devices,
SoundClouds?
maps. We're on the SoundClouds and the Spotify's and
I
the
got
things.
that band.
It's pretty good.
Like and subscribe, etc.
Some more news. Sorry, I forgot. We have some more news. Watch that, please.
Oh, right. That's the name of the show we run for years. Yeah, that's it. That's it for us.
That's all of it.
It's been a good week. Keep that spirit. Keep that fire in your heart. Like and subscribe. And
yeah, like and subscribe.
Remember, we love you very much.
Rest in piss, Dick Cheney. Much.
Rest in piss, Dick Cheney. Much.